Hello and welcome to the Wedding Dish Podcast. Grab your fork and knife and take a seat at our table as we dish on all things weddings. You'll hear stories and tips from real couples and wedding pros about love, life, and entrepreneurship. I'm Sara Alapin, host of the Wedding Dish Podcast and CEO of Photos in the Hardy and District Bliss. And today we have a very exciting episode coming your way. We are dishing with the owner of, or one of the co-owners of, an amazing company that's based in Seattle that specializes in wedding dance choreography, the human behind Visionary Productions. Ernesto, thank you so much for joining me on the Wedding Dish today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
I
And
am
yes,
so excited.
very excited indeed.
Well, let's dish. What is the most rewarding transformation that you've witnessed in a couple during their dance lessons?
Oh, wow.
I know I came in with a heavy question.
Yeah, big time. All right. So that's a good question. That's an excellent question, by the way, because I always go back to an experience I had, before I even had this business while I was just teaching, um, you know, back in my New York days. So there was this couple I remember who wanted to do a tango dance. And let's just say the bride was very enthusiastic about it, wanted to do it. Her dad was Argentinian, so they wanted to do Argentine tango. And the, her partner was not enthusiastic, was doing it simply just for her, and said explicitly, was very honest about it, very open about it. Um, and, and all I was doing was being encouraging. One thing you learn, definitely in this field, I think in all fields too, is that, a great teacher is one thing to be a great dancer or great at what you do. It's very hard to do both, be a great teacher and a great dancer. And you have to be able to work with everybody and you have to be encouraging with everybody. Doesn't matter how much you have to break it down. It challenges you as a teacher. And, just being enthusiastic about it, smiling all the time, encouraging. That's another thing, encouraging, never discouraging. So by the end, and this was around Christmas, this was, I believe, right back in 2015, I'm going back. Uh, they did a performance right before their wedding. So they did like a kind of like a showcase performance. And he literally cried in front of everyone. Uh, and this was like, you're talking about a guy who's like, you look at this guy, you're like, he doesn't cry. He never cried a day in his life, never cried at the baby, you know. And he broke down and he cried. And he thanked me so much for it because I believe it helped him, find a side of himself that, ultimately wasn't there. And at the end of the day, dance is very exposing. So people get nervous. You're in front of a bunch of people. They're all staring at you. They're all looking at you, right? So it's all getting into your head. But the one thing I helped them realize was that, people are going to be around you are supportive. They're not judging you. 95% of them wouldn't even do anything or, wouldn't even do something like this. So you are putting on something. You're putting on a show, a performance. And at the end of the day, it's just a cherry on the top. So I always go back to that experience, and like every single experience, it's pretty much not people aren't crying, but almost some people get into tears, but they usually say like, "Wow, this is like the best experience of my whole wedding process," and you know getting the caterer, getting the all the people that are involved, the wedding planners, it gets kind of hectic. They're running around everywhere, fitting the dress. They always say, well, the classes are like, you know, this is where we get to relax, have fun, have a good time, and just, you know, listen to you, basically.
I love that. It that is very telling. I would imagine that the tears were also because of the difference in the level of connection that he had with his partner after this experience. Also, sorry, there is a huge bug that just flew past me right onto the microphone, which is why I jumped for anyone who's watching the video version.
Mm.
And you might be able to hear it on the show.
Pretty big
It's
bug.
so big. It was so big. I don't know if you could see it because I can't see my own video, but
Mm. I
it
didn't see
was.
it, but just know that the bug is more scared of you than you are of it.
Thank you. Which leads me to my second, which is what is a common fear couples have about their first dance? And how does taking dance lessons with you help them overcome that?
Oh, I would say commonly is I would say the dress. Uh, Usually the bride, if they're going to wear a tight dress or a big dress, usually they do the big traditional dress. Some are fitting, some have a bustle, some don't have a bustle. So they're concerned with certain tricks they're gonna do. They're concerned with stepping on the dress, that sort of thing. But with that, with that,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. Um, we have like basically like we always have a strategy for it. We always say, hey, just bustle the dress when you're dancing. Don't pick up your feet. Just drag your feet. So learning how to do that while wearing comfortable shoes. So that's pretty much the main concern in that. I mean, we're not gonna, there's gonna be tricks, there's gonna be dips, there's gonna be some mini lifts, but nothing that's going to, you know, anything that's gonna make sure that they look good. Nothing that's gonna put them at risk of like falling or, something that's gonna come on America's Funniest Home Videos or something like that.
Oh, geez. I would imagine the shoes are also a concern for some people. When you said the dress, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I could see that."
Hmm. Yeah.
Because depending on the scale, if it is a very big dress or, if it's a little bit longer than you were expecting or there are a lot of factors, I could see that. I
Yeah.
would imagine that you hear about the shoes a lot too.
The shoes, most definitely. We do ask about it right in the beginning. So that way, if it's the shoe that's like not ideal, but say it's a shoe that they have to wear during the dance, there's many different factors. Maybe the family, the mom is like, no, you have to wear those shoes or you have to wear that dress. If not, we always recommend ballroom shoes. There's ballroom shoes that, that would go beautiful with a dress and, not be that expensive. And especially if it's on a wooden dance floor, you could dance just as good. There are couples that change outfits completely for the dance, uh, just to kind of like showcase it as a, regular dance. There's also, many of them will take a lesson here and there for like, say, daughter, father dance, that sort of thing. And I would say those are probably the more enjoyable ones because A, it's not long, it's like about a minute. And, the bride and groom, they'll already be way ahead of time because they took lessons and just give them a few simple steps. And that's pretty much it, and it's always a nice experience to, meet the family.
Yeah, I bet it's a bonding experience, and you've already worked with one of the people in this scenario, so you've already taught them some of the steps, so you're kind of just building on that or reiterating some of that, so it probably would also help with the first dance, making that better if you also come in with your parent.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And then
It's more practice.
a lot of times the parents are like the more ones who are more into it. They're the ones who have the dance background, right? Oh, my mom took ballet, or my dad used to take ballroom lessons, or he does swing dance, or whatever the case may be. So it's like, oh, okay, now I see the connection, you know. So we look
I
forward to
love
getting
that.
them. Yeah.
That's so fun, and it would be just such a special experience to have with your parent too.
Oh, absolutely. It always is. We always encourage them to send us video, not just, hey, you two dancing, like, hey, dance with your parents. If you send it to us, we'll post it just to let you know. Um, so they send us the video, they send us the pictures, we post it. You'll see it on Instagram, you'll see it, some of them on our site. And Yeah, those usually are the ones that people get drawn into too. We get inquiries all the time, people saying like, "Hey, saw this video, saw that video, was wondering, when you're available." So it's definitely a good way
Love that.
to, yeah, it's a good way to network as well.
Love that. How do you approach creating a dance that reflects the couple's unique personality and love story when that's the request they come in with?
I would say one thing we definitely do is we don't pre-plan that often. We pretty much come in first lesson, or introduction lesson, right? So an introduction lesson is like a half hour. We answer whatever questions they have, see how they respond. This is kind of a way to gauge their personality. Are they more shy, are they creative, are they this or that? And then hearing the song, hey, which song do you like the best, right? What's your favorite? It doesn't matter the speed, because always people think it's about speed. It's like, it's not about speed. So we use that in every lesson moving forward. We just kind of do it on the fly. Like, okay, let's try this and this and this. Sometimes they come in with their own ideas. They're like, hey, can you do this? Can we do that? Most of the time we're like, yeah, we can do a version of that or a version of this, especially if they're more enthusiastic about it. Because of course, like we're thinking about the other factors, the dress, what they're wearing, all that stuff. They're dancing outside, isn't on concrete, whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
yeah, those. So basically, it's really about you know, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I like that because then you're coming in and you're seeing the dynamic of the couple too and assessing, who like what they will succeed in as partners
Mhm.
in with the choreography. So I like that. And I agree. It's funny. People do really think it's about speed and dancing. It it's not.
No, no. If it's a fast song, then you'd make the steps slower. If it's a slow song, then you make the steps faster. If it's, say it's a song that's, the lyrics really capture you, you dance to the lyrics. We often tell them to like sing the song, get to know the song. You'll get sick and tired of the song, uh, because you're going to have to listen to it a lot if you want your dance to be really good.
Yeah.
So and many times I'm here during a lesson, I'm singing as I'm teaching them the song, just so they could start to like, yeah, do as I'm doing or we're doing, and it'll start to make more sense that way.
I like that. Really getting to know it inside and out. And yes, you may get sick of it because you're going to be practicing it a
Oh
lot.
yeah, that means you're good. That means it's going to come out
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah. Hmm.
In your experience, what are some fun and creative ways that couples can incorporate their personalities into their wedding dance beyond, like a traditional slow dance? You were talking about different speeds. And, I think we have moved away in the wedding industry from just having, like At Last or, like there are those wedding songs that you can just check off down the list, pretty much anything by John Legend or Bruno Mars.
Yes.
Um, you know, Beyond that, what are some fun, creative ways that couples can incorporate their personalities into that dance?
A lot of times, I think one of recent was they did a wedding dance. We choreographed their wedding dance, and then there's like another dance they wanted to do where they did like a simulation of different songs. Like, all right, we do this one dance. It's going to be Latin. This other dance is going to be hip hop. This other dance, and I believe the bride was from Taiwan, so it was like for a minute there was like this Taiwanese hip hop song. I don't understand
Oh,
anything they were
cool.
saying, but like they wanted to do this aside from the wedding dance, or add it to the wedding dance, kind of like to surprise everyone. Yeah,
Cool.
we're all about it. We encourage it. We're like, hey, do you want to do it? Sure, great. Whatever you want to do. You have any ideas? Throw it in. So it doesn't. A lot of times there's a perception of like, and it's a real perception because I come from a ballroom that background. Learning it that wedding dance is just swing, hustle, foxtrot, you know, Latin, salsa, but I grew up dancing everything. So it could be hip hop, it could be this, it could be that, it could be, it could even be Bollywood. I've done a couple Bollywoods. You do some research and it's like, okay, I get it. And then you choreograph to that. So it's basically whatever they real vision they have, we want to fulfill it. Um, and just so it's not like you're doing it for your parents or you're doing it for your family. No, you have to do it for yourself. It won't work if you're just doing it for other people.
I love that. I could not agree more. I think that everyone should have that mentality about everything surrounding their wedding. Of course,
About life.
you yes, exactly. It's
Hmm.
yours to live. It's your relationship. Yeah, I love that so much. What final advice do you have for couples who are, wondering if they should take dance lessons either as a couple or as, with their parents? What final advice do you have for them?
I would say it wouldn't hurt to pursue an introduction class, you know, give it a try. Um, I've heard just as many stories of couples who did their wedding, didn't take dance lessons at all. They two-stepped the whole thing and they regret it. They just swayed, they just moved around, and it's like, okay, that's our dance. Because and that's not about the investment because they invest a lot into the wedding, right? You have the photographer, you
Mhm.
have this, you have that, and wedding dance really is only a small percentage of the budget. Um, and it's the most memorable, I would have to say. Everyone's going to remember the wedding dance. Everybody.
I think also the experience of learning it would be really memorable. The activity that, you are doing with your partner or your parent. I think that is also another memory that would be really special too.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's what keeps really it's what's going to keep you together. Honestly,
Yeah.
we have couples coming back just for regular lessons. They'll come to our events, our parties, our socials that have nothing to do with weddings. Um, so that's what really, and it shows a side of you that, basically you thought you didn't have. Um, but it's something that everyone can learn and do. I mean, if you could walk, you could dance.
I love that.
And I'm sorry,
Well,
if you can't walk, you could still dance, by the way.
yes,
Yes.
yes. I love it. Well, Ernesto, thank you so much for joining me on the wedding dish today. Where can our listeners find you online?
Well, thank you for having me. You could find us on visionarypro.net. That's our website. You can also find us on Instagram at VP Wedding Dance. We do teach virtual as well, so it's all across the country. I do travel to the East Coast, New York. I do workshops as well. So not just like in the Washington area. We're pretty much all over. So
Love
thank
that.
you.
Love that. And of course, we will link to Visionary Wedding Pros on our show notes and in our episode description, as well as on our Instagram at The Wedding Dish Podcast. Our show notes you can find at theweddingdishpodcast.com. And don't forget to tune in next week. I have another amazing guest coming your way. And if you like the podcast, give me a follow, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting platform. Thank you so much, Ernesto. This has been such a fun conversation. Thanks for letting me throw some hardball questions at you right off the bat and and
I love
just,
it.
lobbing them right back.
No, I love it. I love it. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you all for tuning into the wedding dish. Until next time, cheers.
Thank you.